What can we do to make your offer stand out in a multiple offer situation? Hi, everyone. I'm Betty Russo. I'm here with William Koedatich today of Crown Home Mortgage, and we're going to talk about how the right mortgage commitment helps you crush the competition and win big. Welcome, Will.
Hello, Betty. Thank you as always for having me.
Absolutely. I love having you on the show. So, Will, tell me about this mortgage commitment type that you sometimes use.
So it's a to be determined mortgage commitment. So ultimately what it is, it's one step above a pre-approval, two steps above a pre-qualification, and it's almost as good as cash. So essentially what it is it's an already underwritten pre-approval. So an underwriter was assigned to it. They read all the documentation, they approved it, they put their stamp on it. So essentially, once you get your offer accepted, you need an appraisal, a title search, and a contract to sale, and we'd pretty much be ready to go and close in under 21 days. So it's it's a very solid offer at that point.
Why would the seller choose this type of mortgage over
Yeah,
another?
that's a great question. So one of the things that we see now, obviously, in all these multiple offer situations is a seller gets overwhelmed, the listing agent, try to categorize all these offers, and they look at, they always start at the strongest and they work their way down, right? So one way that this can help you stand out when that does happen is if they look at all the pre-approvals, all right, they line them all up. Then they look at all the cash offers, they line those up. What they can do is now look at this to be determined mortgage commitment, and that kind of falls in between, right? So if you're a seller or a listing agent and you see a to be determined mortgage commitment, in their eyes, it should stand out and say, all right, it's way stronger than these pre-approvals because things can go wrong once underwriting happens. That's everyone's fear. And maybe it actually stands out more than the cash offer because cash, although cash is king and, the process is a lot smoother when it is cash, that person going in with cash also knows that they have that much cash. So they have all the leg to stand on to say, you know what, I'll buy your house and give you this cash. It's like, floating in front of your face, but I want you to do all these things to the house to get it there. Where maybe you have somebody that offers a little bit more, has a to be determined mortgage commitment with essentially no risk in the process.
Right. And then there's no risk because they've gone through the entire mortgage commitment, with the exception of things that are pertaining to the house only.
Of course, right? So, and we'll touch on those again, right? So it's getting an appraisal done, which, depending on how much they're putting down, it might get waived. But let's say appraisal, they always want to do a judgment search on the property because everyone wants to know the house is free and clear. We obviously need a contract to sale binding them to purchase this house. And then the only other thing you could throw on there would be the earnest money deposit, which once again, that's going to be per house. But besides that, the income's already done. The assets have all been verified. The credit report's good. Everything is essentially cleared in the file minus those couple of things. Because like you said, it pertains to the property.
Okay. So is there a downside?
So there is a downside. To make your offer stronger, we do have to do a hard inquiry on the credit. But to take that next step and, avoid losing houses that they love, to really have a concrete idea of where they stand, you'd have to get the hard inquiry. That's the only downside to it. Getting a hard inquiry is only going to affect your score, let's call it 7 to 10 points. And within a few months of you paying off your debt, it's going to bounce back anyway. Is it worth you losing the house that you can raise your family in by 7 points on a credit score that people probably rarely even touch?
Mm-hmm.
Most people, aren't reading their credit run every day. So, you get it run, it goes down 7 points. It's not going to change anything. So instead of losing a house you love because, your offer didn't look strong, get the hard inquiry, present a really strong offer, and maybe get the house of your dreams.
And 7 points in the whole scheme of things doesn't seem like a huge big deal.
Yeah. And I think some people have the negative connotation that it's like, all right, what if it's like 100 points or 75 points? And it's no, you going late on a credit card is going to cause that. Somebody looking at your credit is not going to do that. And it's going to make your offer stronger. So
it seems to me that this is really for the buyer who is ready to buy. Like there's a lot of buyers that are looking, but kind of taking their time. And then you have the really determined buyer who's ready to go right now. So that seems like the perfect mortgage option for them. With a to be determined mortgage commitment, you really seem to be going the extra mile.
yes.
Do a lot of lenders do this? I mean, I don't see this too often. So why isn't this the standard?
Yeah, so you would think it would be the industry standard, but honestly, what it comes down to is you're the company that backs you as a loan officer. So Crown Home Mortgage has been great to, all the loan officers that work for them, where they're willing to put the extra revenue that they make on loans back into the company, which helps employ more underwriters, which gives us the flexibility of not only having those underwriters work on files that are active, under contract, refinances, loans that are in progress, but they're also, we have underwriters that'll work on just the to be determined mortgage commitments. Because if you think about it in a company's eyes, a lot of companies don't allow this because it could be wasted man hours, right? You could do 100 to be determined mortgage commitments. So an underwriter is doing all of this work, and let's say 5 of them come to fruition. They'd rather have, some companies rather have those underwriters work on files that are actually in progress, that are trying to get to a closing, because that's how mortgage companies make their money, right? Once that loan closes, that's where the revenue comes in, it pays everybody. So essentially, our company is saying, listen, we don't mind paying these people to do something that may not come to fruition, because it's going to make our offer stronger. It's going to make our referral partners happy. And ultimately, it's going to make us stand out, against the competition.
That makes so much sense. I'm so glad that I asked you that, because I always wondered that. I'm like, why doesn't everybody just do this? For this to be determined mortgage commitment, what is the turnaround time?
Yeah, recently it's been 24 to 48 hours. So essentially, if you sent me a buyer today, I talk to that buyer, we take all their information, I run their credit report, I gather all their documents today, and I submit it to an underwriter. I would say within 2 business days, we have that to be determined mortgage commitment sent out to us. And at that point, I can help the client finalize any conditions that they would have to gather up, that maybe we didn't have the first time around. We get it back in there, everything gets cleared up. But I would say anywhere from, 48 hours to 72 hours, we have that document. Because what I also, what I like to do is, when you submit an offer with a buyer, is not only do I give them the pre-approval letter, because that's the first thing realtors think of is, where's this pre-approval letter? I give the pre-approval letter, but then on top of that, I give this to be determined mortgage commitment. And I even, I have realtors write into the contract, listen, this borrower is through underwriting already. I can reach out to the listing agent. I can explain what that means, because they may not be aware of what a to be determined mortgage commitment is. And I answer any questions that they have, but I like to submit both with the offers and then reach out so that they do understand what what they're looking at.
If you're not doing a to be determined mortgage commitment, but you're doing a pre-approval for those people that are not ready to go that further step yet, what's the turnaround time for that?
So that's normally same day. So, when I talk to a client, I can go through everything with them in under 30 minutes, right? And fully explain everything, answer all their questions. And then I give them a task of documents to send to me. And most of them can be done electronic, all of them can be done electronically. And it's stuff that everyone normally has put together already. They send over to me and I get the pre-approval out that day. I don't like to delay anything. I've heard horror stories with other lenders where they don't get back to people for a few days and they lose out on a house and whatnot. And I can't tell you how many times I've had clients reach out to me because their local bank or whatnot is not getting back to them and they have to put this offer in. And I will gladly step in, give my expertise on it, teach them something that the other lender didn't, and provide a pre-approval that day so that they can secure the house.
That's awesome. I love that, because that is huge. That could be a deal breaker, like you said. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about in regard to, this commitment that you want to share?
No, I think honestly, it's, it's one of the reasons, one of the ways that we stand out. If you have the buyers out there that are super serious and want this to go along with their offer to make it stronger and hopefully stand out on the other 20 pre-approvals that are sitting there, feel free to give us a call and I can walk them through it and answer any questions that they have.
Awesome. So where can people find you, Will?
So they can email me at will@crownhm.com, or they can call or text me. This is always a big thing because you're not going to text anybody that's working at a local bank, but they can call or text me at 973-954-1497.
Awesome. Thank you. It was great talking with you today, as always.
Yes.
For anybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this information helpful to you, please share it out with all your friends. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, Betty.